You spent months, even years perfecting your funnel, your strategy, your techniques, your skills, and yet you aren't getting the results that you want when there are people who are getting better results than you with less sophisticated systems, with less time in the game, leaving you wondering why the hell things aren't working out for you. See, the issue was never the funnel. It was never the technique that you use. It was always been your subconscious mind. And until you attend to your subconscious mind, you are going to continue experiencing the exact reality that you're experiencing now, no matter what you do. Right? As those of you who've been here before know that we're about to go into a slideshow, but I have a funny story to tell you guys. I was at my friend, he's a DJ. So he was hosting his first event like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And obviously, DJ event, people are partying, whatnot. They're dancing on the floor. And I can't dance. If you don't know, I can't dance. I have two left feet and two left flat feet. My feet are incredibly flat. So people were dancing. I wasn't dancing. I was literally chilling in the corner. And then one of my friends comes, stop being so nonchalant. Chalant for once. I'm like, niggas think I'm chalant. I literally can't dance. So I'm saving my reputation. And now, I was actually peer pressure. I succumbed to it. I started dancing. It didn't go well. But I think no one wanted to say anything because they forced me to dance. But the message for today is do not fall to peer pressure. But anyways, let's go to the split screen. So, as Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will dictate your life and you'll call it fate. If you have been looking at your past with your business and everything that you are doing right now, you have been trying all these strategies. You have tried the funnels, you have tried the different techniques, and still nothing has worked. See, I experienced the exact same thing of this on my social media journey. I tried, people will say that talking head videos are the best. So I do that. I'm doing talking head videos, and they say no, cinematic. So I'm doing cinematic. And then they say, oh no, a mixture of day in the life content and a voiceover. And I did all of that. And the funny thing I found is that I got the same results across. It's very likely that no matter what you have done, you have continued to get the same results regardless of the different strategies. Let's say you are stuck at making $7,000 a month. Regardless of what you try, the new strategy, the new technique, the new funnel, you'll find that if you average out about 6 months, you're averaging $7,000 a month. And then frustrating because you'll see people with this new strategy that you think is going to be your savior doing $150,000 a month, $200,000 a month, or even the head of the industry. And now you're thinking, damn, what is wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you, but there's everything wrong with your subconscious mind. And that is exactly what we're going to get into. We're going to get into the root cause of the life that you're living. The first thing that I need to tackle is this belief that your strategy is a problem. See, this belief implies that your strategy is the root cause of whatever you're going through. And typically, strategies are never something that's mental, it's something that you can apply. It's a way to reach your clients, it's a way to talk, it's a format in which you post videos, it's a way in which you deliver your services, X, Y, and Z, right? What this further implies is that action is a cause of reality. However, there are people who do every single thing right, but they still aren't in their desired reality. And if you don't believe this, go to some of the poorest places on earth. I've come from Zimbabwe. I grew up in Zimbabwe. The average salary in this country is $200 a month. And I'll tell you for free that most people do everything right. Picture perfect. Oh, they go to work. They work extra hard. They do overtime. They try getting good books with the boss. Everything they're reading, they're educating. Zimbabwe is one of the highest literacy rates in the world, not even in Africa, but in the world, right? But you see the state of the country, and people like to blame it on politicians. I don't think the politicians are the reason why the country is in this state. I think the reason why countries are in a state is because of the average state of consciousness of the members in that country. But I say all of this to say that what you do doesn't necessarily lead to the life that you live, because there are people who do everything right. See, there are people right now. I'm a 22-year-old turning 23 in about a month and a bit. 22-year-old. I charge $2,000 a client. There are people who are more educated than me. They've gone to school. Well, not even more educated, because what does education mean? But there are people who have gone to school. They have spent 10 years in school. They have doubts, whatever. They've done everything right. And I'm earning more than them. What I charge for one client is what they get if they're lucky in a year. And it's crazy. Because I'm not taxed because of the nature of how I earn. Like, and their stuff is getting taxed. It's crazy. And it's not crazy. Once you understand reality, you'll be able to see it everywhere. I don't know why I'm saying it's crazy. It is not crazy. But there are people who have done everything right. And I'm just this random 22-year-old that has apparent arrogance thinking that I can just charge people however much I want to charge. Like, who's going to pay that? And yet people pay it. Am I doing everything right by societal standards? Absolutely not. But I am in my desired reality. And the truth is that, well, it's not even the truth. You probably found yourself thinking that, you know what, some people will never succeed no matter what they do. And this is something that I encountered growing up. People will say that, you know what, it may not be your portion to succeed, right? Because you look at society, most people aren't rich. Most people aren't living in what you would assume is their desired reality. So that implies that most people, or some people, will just never succeed no matter what they do. And I always hated this idea because it meant that we didn't actually have control of our lives. We couldn't steer our ship to the port that we wanted it to go. We just had to hope that God had given us the fate of a successful person. And God has given us free will. If you look at the Bible or religious texts, they communicate that God has given us free will. If He had given us free will but determined that we were going to be poor, then it would cancel the need for free will. It would negate the whole idea of there being free will, right? I'm someone that I just believe that we can do anything we want in this life. And let's say it may be an ego thing, but how can you tell me that I can't? How can you tell me that you may not be meant to succeed? Like, how can you tell me that? But oddly enough, even though that's the idea that some people will never succeed no matter what they do is a half truth. All truths are but half truths. So some people will never succeed no matter what they do. And I don't know if you can see, but I have highlighted do. And I put it in italics because it is very important to this. Some people will never succeed no matter what they do. And for you to understand this, we need to go into the true unfoldment of how reality works. See, like I've said many times in this video, that many people think that reality is created through actions, meaning that action is the cause of the life that we're living, right? But a simple look around will show you that two people can perform the same actions in the same way, in the same area, with the same background, and get completely different results. So it shows that action is not the cause of reality, because if it was, it could be a simple formula of do this and get this. But two people start the same business, same tactics, same market, whatever, completely different results. One ends up a millionaire, one ends up bankrupt in the next 3 years. Right? It doesn't make sense, right? If action were the true cause to reality, people could study in the same way. Like during school, I would study less than other people. If action were the cause of reality, I would be failing. But a nigga like me, we don't fail. But anyways, to understand what is the true cause of whatever it is that you're experiencing in your life, you have to understand this idea, which is called the multi-dimensional sequence of events. So I'm not going to act like I came up with this. This came from Nero. So how it goes is we start off with a frequency, right? But I like to say state of consciousness. So you start off with a state of consciousness. That state of consciousness leads to your intuition. Intuition leads to mental nudges. Mental nudges lead to action, and action leads to your reality. So starting off with your state of consciousness. Your state of consciousness is essentially the environment, the average of what your subconscious mind dwells on, thinks about, focuses on in a day. And in fact, Nero also mentioned that there are 7 keys of your state of consciousness. So these 7 keys are your attention, your perception, your expectations, your emotionally charged thoughts, your reactions, your convictions, and your beliefs. So the average of those 7 things will become your state of consciousness. And when you look at those 7 things, if you changed all 7 of those, it wouldn't be a stretch to say that your life would change. Right? But anyways, that is your state of consciousness. Your state of consciousness then leads to your intuition. What I like to say intuition is just a feeling. Intuition really doesn't have an emotion to it. When people just say, I was trusting my gut, what they're trusting is your intuition. And when you're trusting your gut, it's never really this concrete thing. It's more so just a general emotion like, can I trust this person? I don't trust this person. But you can't put it to words, but you just feel negative. You're like, Or when someone's good for you, you chill around them, you just feel at peace. Like, and you can't put it to words, you just feel at peace. However, that emotion, that feeling, then leads to mental nudges. Now, mental nudges are now things that you can conceptualize, things such as, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Right? Or using the idea of you being in the same place continually, regardless of what you do, regardless of the funnels that you try, the methods, the techniques, right? Your mental nudges will be something like, tweak this funnel. Do this action. Oh, don't do that action. Don't talk to that person. Don't reach out to that person. It's not going to work. And those mental nudges, those little phrases in your head, then lead to the actions that you take. And now the actions that you take lead to the reality that you're living. And the reason why people think action is the cause of reality, because it's the only thing that you can see on this scale or in this sequence of events. But that's just a poor level of understanding. See, we can only see 0.0035% of what exists in the electromagnetic spectrum. So if you are basing your conviction that the cause of something is only apparent 0.0035% of the time, that's not a very good claim. It's not a very good claim. In fact, it would be better to assume that the cause of things is something that is unseen, and this is exactly what's unseen, the first three things in this sequence of events. So if you've been stuck, it's likely that you have if you've been stuck, it's likely that you have a state of consciousness that matches with the life that you're living right now. So you have a state of consciousness that matches with the area that you're stuck in, whether it's making 5K a month, 6K a month, 7K a month, $0 a month, whatever it may be. I don't know why I assume you guys are making a lot, but whatever it is that you are stuck with right now, you have a state of consciousness, you have a frequency that is in alignment with it. Now what that leads to is an intuition that is alignment with that. So you will feel comfortable in settings that lead to the reality that you're living right now. You will feel comfortable in making decisions that, whether you know it or not, will lead to the unfoldment of your current reality. That is why people say that your brain or you would rather live in a comfortable hell than an uncomfortable. Guys, forgive me. That is why they say that you would rather live in a known hell than an unknown heaven. Meaning that a lot of the time we are more comfortable being in a place that we know of, even though it may not necessarily bring the best of our life. So your intuition will be more comfortable living or making decisions. It will feel more at peace when it is in situations that lead to the unfoldment of the life that you are currently living, right? So anyways, your intuition of your current reality leads to the mental nudges of your current reality. So let's say you're trying to make more money, you're trying to increase your prices, whichever mechanism you're using to make more money. Your brain will say there's no point of increasing my prices because no one's going to pay that. Who said no one's going to pay that? I'm at 22-year-old Zimbabwean and people will pay me $2,000 for 10 calls. Like who? And this is only the beginning. I can assure you that the price is only going to go up. I can assure you that within the next few years it's going to be at least 10 times that amount. So the price is only going to go up. Who says that no one's going to pay a 22-year-old Zimbabwean that much? In fact, I told my dad the other day, he was like, you're not making that much money. Why would anyone pay you? And I was like, yeah, no one will pay me because I have no desire to prove my life to anyone, quite frankly. Anyways, your state of consciousness leads to a specific intuition, which leads to specific mental nudges, and those mental nudges serve to keep you in the same place even though you think that they aren't the cause of your reality, right? And then those mental nudges then lead to taking action that aligns to the reality that you're currently going through right now. So you will find that you do the same things that you've been ordinarily doing. Or even if you try new things, that they don't lead to the reality that you want. The reason being is because you will never be able to outrun your state of consciousness. You will never be able to outwork, to outact your state of consciousness. Your state of consciousness is the biggest domino. So if your state of consciousness is a state of consciousness of being stuck, you can perform the actions of someone that isn't stuck. But because it's the biggest domino, it's simply falling will make the reality domino fall. Like imagine a frequency fall and you try to like control action, hold action up. Action is gonna fall. It's gonna fall regardless of what you do. So you need to realize that action is not the cause of your reality, it's your state of consciousness. Now going back to the statement that I made, oddly enough, all things are but half truths. Some people will never succeed no matter what they do. And there's the half truth. Some people will never succeed no matter what they do. I'm recording a video, please don't shout. If you never change your state of consciousness, the thing at the top of this multi-dimensional sequence events, you can do everything. You can do anything. You can try any method. You can get any coach, and still nothing is going to change. Still, you are not going to succeed no matter what you've done. So there's the truth of that thing, that if you don't change your state of consciousness, the thing at the top of this multi-dimensional sequence of events, no matter what you do, you are not going to succeed. Hence proving why some people will never succeed no matter what they do. Huh? Some people will never succeed no matter what they do. Whatever. I mean, some people will never succeed no matter what they do is a half truth. Anyways, so now you may be thinking, if you're a smart person, or not even a smart person, I don't know why I always say that, but what you may be thinking is like, okay, how do I alter my state of consciousness? What even is that? What is my frequency? Before we get into that, we need to get into one of the Hermetic principles, and it is the principle of mentalism. This principle is that the all is mind and the universe is mental. The all being what some people would say is God, the all being the creator of all of this, right? So replace the all with God. God is mind, the universe is mental. The reason why the universe is mental, because the universe is a mental creation of God, right? It began in his mind, or her, let me not even say her, but it began in his mind, in God's mind, and the universe, the world as we know it, the solar systems, everything that we can see was made through this mental creation of God, right? And we are made in the image of God. Therefore, we create in the same way. And a funny thing that I haven't written here is God is omnipresent. So if God is omnipresent, the mind that exists in God exists in us too. So it means that in us exists God. Does that mean we are God? No. But it means we are made in the image of God, so we have droplets of the infinite of God within us. Why? Because God is omnipresent. It's like here there's like a little bit of water. Here there's like a little bit of water in this glass, right? It's not all the water in the world, but there's a little bit of water here. There's a little bit of water everywhere. Even in your clothes, there's a little bit of water. Even in your skin, there's water. Even in your body, there's water. But does that mean you're water? No. So in you, there's the consciousness of God. Does that mean you're God? No. Because you have the consciousness of this reality, and they oppose each other. So we are made in the image of God, therefore we create in the same way. Just as this universe is a mental creation of God, our lives, your business, your relationship, whatever it may be in your life, is a mental creation of you. Your reality is a mental creation of your mind. Your mental creation will always prevail over anything else. See, you will never be able to change your reality by changing your actions, because that's like trying to change an effect by trying to change an effect. The best way I can conceptualize this is, imagine you are trying to cool down a pot of boiling water that is still on the gas stove, and the way in which you want to cool it down is by adding ice cubes. Like, no, fair enough, the ice cube may temporarily cool it down by like a degree or something, but it's going to heat back up. Why? Because the gas is always going to prevail over anything you put in that, right? Even if you put in liquid nitrogen, eventually it will get back to its boiling point, right? Or it would evaporate actually, and then the water will start boiling again. It would turn into ice and start boiling again. So it wouldn't be a long-lasting change. Likewise, when you try to change your reality with action, it never is a long-lasting change. That is why most people fail with their New Year's resolutions, because they think that action is the course of the life they are living. So if they can live the life that, if they can do the things that they think they need to do to get into their dream life, they will live their dream life. So they set out. They're like, I'm going to the gym 5 times a week. I'm going to the gym, whatever. I'm going to do this. I'm going to work this amount of times each week. And nothing actually changes. They do the actions for 1 week, 2 weeks, and then they eventually wane off, leading to their life not changing. And even people who stick to their New Year's resolutions, there's some people who go to the gym every day, they eat all the right meals, and they're still fat. There's some people who do all the things that they need to do in their business. They do the outreach, they update their funnels, and they're still poor. Right? The reason being is because they have a mental creation that aligns to the life that they are continually living. Your mental creation is always going to prevail. If you currently have a mental creation that is in alignment of the life that you are living, no matter what you do, no matter what action you take, if you do not change that mental creation, you are going to continue living the manifestation of that mental creation. See, your mental creation can also be known as your state of consciousness. And remember, your state of consciousness leads to intuition, mental knowledge, action, reality. Your state of consciousness is the cause of the reality that you are living. Right. So I'm not even going to get into changing your state of consciousness in this video, because it would make this video very, very long, 2 hours long. But essentially, your state of consciousness is those 7 keys. So just remember that. Your beliefs, perceptions, I'm going to forget 7. So I said them all perfectly that time. So I'm not going to say them again now, because now when I forget, I'm going to be like, damn, I nigga forgot. So after altering your mental creation, that is essentially your state of consciousness, you're going to encounter a few limiting beliefs. You may believe that you're destined to get into your place, but you're going to have limiting beliefs. Most people have limiting beliefs. So some of the ones I've found is, one of my friends, he's a trader, and he didn't become successful until I addressed this thing. And one of the things was that you need a certain amount of years in the game. And this is something that's universal, that can happen to you if you're unaware. What tends to happen is we all learn from someone. There will be a respected person in the industry, so naturally you will view the things that they say as a truth. Damn. As a truth, right? And they'll say that, oh, I spent 3 years in the gutter. I was sleeping on my mom's floor. She didn't even give me a room. I was losing money all the time. No clients were coming to me. They didn't believe in us. But on the 3rd year or the 4th year, the 1st year or the 4th year, things suddenly worked. Things were clicking, and it was just client after client after client, successful trade after successful trade after successful trade. So you're like, damn. And that story is emotionally captivating. So you're like, damn, it invokes emotion in you. But now that evokement of emotion is dangerous, because emotion is the language of the subconscious mind. So it starts programming your subconscious mind, and you start believing it deep down. One thing I didn't mention before is that your state of consciousness resides in your subconscious mind. See, people would like to change their state of consciousness by manually stating certain beliefs, by manually paying attention to certain things. But most of the things that you do day to day are subconscious. So if you don't ever change the state of your subconscious mind, you will never change your state of consciousness, because most of the things you do happen on a subconscious level. So due to the emotion that people would have felt, they will begin to program their subconscious mind, and it will believe that they need, let's say, they need 10 years in the game, right? Because your subconscious mind is the heart of your reality. See, in the Bible, it says, guard your heart, for all things you do flow from it. I always used to wonder, what the hell is your heart? How am I supposed to guard my heart? I have ribs for reasons. Guard as much as it can be guarded. Do you want me to wear a bulletproof vest? And it's like, no. Your heart, actually, if you look at the meaning of the words that were used back then and the contextual meaning, your heart is your deep mind. Your deep mind is obviously your subconscious mind. So now when you rephrase it, guard your subconscious mind, for all you do flows from it. It makes sense. Like all you do flows from it. So because people had emotionally reacted or experienced when their favorite teacher said that, oh damn, it took me 10 years, it took me 3 years, they have subconsciously accepted that it's going to take them 3 years. And one thing you need to know is that there are no truths in your reality other than what you've subconsciously accepted as true. So now you've accepted that, you know what, you need 3 years, however many years. So what you'll find is that even if you have the means to achieve in a certain thing, you are not going to until you pass the certain time frame that you believe it's going to take. So you are going to subconsciously sabotage yourself. Why? Because you don't think you satisfied the rules, or you haven't satisfied the rules that you've set for yourself subconsciously. If you believe it's going to take 5 years and it's been 6 months, like how on earth are you going to succeed? Like you are going to start finding reasons to not succeed. Then you will magically find that as soon as the 5 years are done, you wouldn't have really changed your skills drastically. But everything starts working. See, a lot of things, another thing that I've seen in our clients is that the belief that maybe I'm just not meant to succeed. And what this normally comes from is repeated scenarios growing up where they tried hard and they didn't succeed. They did everything they could and they didn't succeed, leaving them thinking that, you know what, no matter what I do, maybe I'm just not meant to succeed. What they didn't realize is that the emotions that they felt in these situations where they didn't succeed, regardless of what they did, produced or served to program their subconscious mind, believing that I'm just not meant to succeed. Your subconscious mind is no maybe, it has yes and no. So when you say maybe I'm just not meant to succeed subconsciously, it means I'm not meant to succeed. And what that does is you subconsciously believe that you're not meant to succeed. And like I said, the only truths in your reality are what you have subconsciously accepted as true. So you believe you're not meant to succeed. So subconsciously you're going to ensure that you're not meant to succeed so that you are right. I believe that most people are living in a reality in which they are right. And what they are right about is what is in their subconscious mind. Your life is a one-to-one reflection of what is going on in your subconscious mind. Other limiting beliefs, oh, it's going to be hard, I am a foreigner, so I won't be chosen. These limiting beliefs, they alter your mental creation. And because the universe is mental, the all is mind, and because your reality is a mental creation of your mind, all these limiting beliefs that you have, that you've gathered throughout the years of disappointment, throughout pain, throughout hardship, they alter your mental creation. And now if they can alter your mental creation, they will alter your reality. Why? Your reality is a mental creation of your subconscious mind. Now, I say all of this, you're probably scared thinking like, damn, what the hell am I going to do? Don't worry. This is how you change. So how to change is you need to recognize that your mental creation resides in your subconscious mind. Guard your heart, for all things flow from it. I've explained this. However, your subconscious mind, however your subconscious mind is programmed is however your life is going to be. You need to see your subconscious mind as the code and your reality as the application. You will never be able to change the application by trying to change things within the application. Imagine you go on Instagram right now. I'm on my phone here, right? And I go on Instagram. I'm not going to open Instagram because I'll get distracted. And I notice that Instagram has a bug. And I try to change the bug by asking Instagram, how do you change this bug? And by deleting certain things. It doesn't make sense because a bug exists in the code. If the code isn't changed, the bug will continue to manifest in the application user side. So the code must be changed. Likewise, your subconscious mind, your mental creation must be changed. Right? And the subconscious mind is programmed primarily by emotion. A lot of the times people say repetition, but if you look at PTSD, right? PTSD, everyone can accept that it's deeply embedded in the subconscious mind of the victims, right? So normally with PTSD, they don't repeatedly go through something. Someone will go to war in flipping Vietnam and a bomb will land 2 meters away from them and do some terrible things to their best friend. And they're forever traumatized by that. It only happened once. It only needed to happen once. But the reason why it embedded itself in the subconscious mind is because the emotional charge of seeing that terrible thing happen was so great that the subconscious mind had no reason but to accept it as true. So because your subconscious mind is programmed primarily by emotion, emotion is the root to programming your subconscious mind in a way that aligns with the life or the goal that you want to have. So you must emotionally experience that which you want in reality, right? But you have to emotionally experience it first, right? And people think that, oh, it has to be observed. I mean, it has to be something that you've gone through. It doesn't have to be something that you're actually going through. It can be something that is observed. A lot of people are traumatized. They have beliefs on women, relationships, men, through videos they've seen on social media, and they genuinely believe them with all their heart, not because they've been through those things. No, if you ask them, their interactions are like, nah, they haven't been too bad, but because of social media posts where they were repeatedly listening or hearing people talk about their perils. Oh, I got cheated on by 50,000 niggas, and you're like, damn, that's crazy. Got cheated on by 50,000 niggas, and things aren't working out. It's like, damn, like you just can't help but feel sorry for the guy. And so you feel certain emotions, you feel pain on his behalf, but that pain serves to program your subconscious mind. Now you are getting, or now because it's in your subconscious mind, you have subconsciously accepted that it's true that women are evil. And you didn't even go through it, and yet your subconscious mind was programmed through the emotional experience of what someone else went through. And you'll find that if you don't address it, you'll start experiencing said evil women. So you must emotionally experience that which you want in your reality. And the best way to do this, so let me not even say the best way, the way that I do it and the way that I tell my clients to do it is through visualizations, right? Oh yeah, by the way, if you're a six-figure entrepreneur who knows they have an internal subconscious block that has been preventing them from getting to the level that they know they should be at, click the first link in the description and sign up or apply to work with me. But anyways, the way that I advise my clients to go through this is through visualizations, and it's the exact way that I do my things. Essentially, what you do is just find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Sit still, close your eyes, and just wait until you get into a meditative state. You'll know you're in a meditative state when you're not thinking a lot of thoughts. You're just existing, right? You're not really analyzing anything. Quite calm. Your body starts to feel heavy or light. Either two, it depends on the person. And then at that point, find something that would imply that you have attained your desired reality. So let's say if you want to make $10,000 a month, it will be your loved one saying, I'm so proud of you for making $10,000 a month. If you want to elevate your business to a specific level where you have 10 clients, someone congratulating you for getting 10 clients. The reason why this is so effective is because it focuses more on what you actually want. Many people think that they want 10 clients. I could care less about having 10 clients. If one client paid me 100K, I'll be like, calm. What's the need? What you want more, well, that's not the best example. But what you want more than the client, than the income, than the relationship is the emotional states that you think you will put you in. The only reason you want that thing is because you think that it will put you in a more favorable state of consciousness. You think that it will alter your state of consciousness. So you seek it through actions, thinking that actions is the way in which you're going to get it. When the truth is, your state of consciousness, the state of consciousness that you think you're going to get is a starting point. The way you get through that state of consciousness is through visualization. Well, there are many other methods, but the one I'm going to focus on and will focus on for the rest of my videos is visualization. So you visualize something that implies that you've attained your desired reality. Someone congratulating you, someone acknowledging that thing, someone talking about that thing that you now have. And what you'll find is if that visualization is vivid enough, it will produce emotion. And now because emotion is the language of the subconscious mind, it will begin programming your mind. And now you would have emotionally experienced it. And what you've emotionally experienced, the subconscious mind accepts as true. And now it'll serve or to try to prove all those things right in your reality. Now, you'll find that your reality will reflect what you've emotionally experienced, which is the good things. You no longer being stuck, you being in a state where you're making $10,000 a month, your life is good. And at that point, you would have changed and you realize that your finals were always fine. It was your subconscious mind that was holding you back.